So have you ever suffered a setback in life? Has life ever not worked out as you had planned? Have you ever failed, fallen down, been let go, been disappointed, disheartened, or rejected? Yeah, that's what I thought. Me too. Now that we know that we're all amongst friends and fellow humans, I can safely say that the next few mornings that we're going to spend together will be very valuable for you. The interesting thing is this. It is all our obstacles. It is during times of strife and struggle and challenge and adversity that true achievers are born, or let's just say revealed. Martin Luther King Jr. put it this way: the ultimate measure of a man or a woman is not where he or she stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he or she stands at times of challenge. You see, it will not be your success that will define the arc of your life. It will be your adversities, the setbacks, the failures, not the knockdown itself, but the amount of time that you stay down, the speed and grace in which you rise and begin again. Those are the moments when you gain the advantage and you get distance from other men and women that you're racing with. Here's the first thing that I do to get myself off the proverbial floor, so to speak. Number one, I get a grip, meaning I rebalance myself by gaining perspective. Let me give an example. A little while back, my wife was feeling a little bit stressed and down about a project that had not gone according to plan. She left the house in a bummed mood and then came back like a transformed human being. I asked her, what the heck happened? And then she told me the story of Jimmy. Jimmy owns the nail salon around the corner from our house here in San Diego, and Jimmy cleans people's fingernails and toenails for a living. And Jimmy always has a big, giant smile on his face. Georgia, while having Jimmy give her a mani and pedi to help her feel better, was curious why this man was always so dang happy. So she asked Jimmy how he grew up. Jimmy explained that he was one of 9 from a very large Vietnamese family. Because Jimmy's father had been loyal to the American military during the Vietnam War, he was ordered to pay restitution, which he was told would be imprisonment of a term for 2.5 weeks. Well, 3.5 years later, weak, starving, and brutalized in what turned out to be a labor camp, his father was finally released. With his release, Jimmy's father was determined to leave Vietnam and take his wife and 9 children to the United States. To do so, they had to leave everything behind: their home, their small business, their money, their jewelry, all their possessions, and most devastatingly, the commitment to never be able to return to Vietnam, their village, their homeland, ever again. To avoid capture, their only option of escape was by the ocean. The only time this was possible was during monsoon season, when it was so dangerous that the Federal Coast Guard wasn't even on the water. The morning they planned to leave, they headed down to the shore, joined by Jimmy's uncle and his uncle's 8 children. Each family had their own small, rickety boat, their clothes on their backs, and tremendous fear in their hearts. They knew death, or being sent to a labor camp for the rest of their lives, was more likely than a successful escape. But they proceeded anyway. At dusk, the wind started to whip, the waves began to rise, and a great storm was brewing on the horizon. Still, both families climbed into their boats and faced the unknown of a wicked storm and utter darkness. Not long into the journey, the storm had grown monstrous, and the 2 boats had separated, and the 2 families could no longer even see each other. Jimmy's family kept fighting against the storm by continually emptying their boat of water and moving forward. The next day, after many hours of darkness and torrential rain and massive waves, Jimmy and his family were exhausted, hungry, and beaten down. Their small boat threatened to come apart at any minute, but they didn't have the strength to continue. Just as they thought they might be lost forever, a Chinese fisherman and his sons came upon them. After much convincing that they were not pirates, but in fact desperate for help, the Chinese fishermen allowed them on board and would take them the rest of the way to Hong Kong. Wet, starving, and exhausted, Jimmy and his family felt a glimmer of hope that they actually might live. Upon their embarking in Hong Kong, they were taken to a refugee center where they received a telegram that their uncle's boat had been taken by huge waves, broken in two, and 4 of his children had died, swept away and drowned in the darkness. On their very first airplane flight, on the way to their new country, the United States of America, a movie was playing in the airplane that Jimmy never forgot. The movie was It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. It was during that flight that the young Koa Tran decided to become Jimmy, and has been so for the last few decades. Jimmy concluded his tale with, "What can I possibly be unhappy about? Life is wonderful." Well, how about that? How does whatever you think is your current adversity seem now? How do you feel about your job, no matter what it is that you do now, even if it's cleaning people's nails and feet? Think about all that Jimmy's father, family, and his uncle sacrificed just to have the privilege of being here, being alive, and having that job. And likely, you have all of that and more. So, no matter how tragic, devastating, or terrible you think your failure, setback, or adversity is, take comfort in knowing it's nothing by comparison to what other people have endured, are enduring, and have created a triumph with. The first thing to always do when you find yourself staring at the sky, having been knocked on your tush, is get a grip. Regain proper balance by regaining proper perspective. Hey, be a pal to someone this morning. Who do you know who needs a little rebalancing or a sweet reminder that life is beautiful? I want you to forward them this Darren Daily right now. And in the comments below, tell us, how do you keep your perspective when you trip or get knocked down? And I look forward to reading your thoughts.